Wiggle here, updating you from yesterday where I lost the camera. Found it in the loader. I looked everywhere, up and down, high and low, everywhere I could. So the beast is running, but it's still not motivating right. It just moves super slow. It just changed out the fluid. It's just still not moving. So I'm gonna try to change the transmission fluid. The transmission filter, and if that doesn't get it moving, I'm going to drain all the fluid again. I'll just buy the actual proper fluid right from the manufacturer, the case TCH or whatever it is, and if hopefully that'll get it moving. And if that doesn't get it moving, I don't know, because it just crawls. It's just pathetic. Anyway, we got this hay all moved over here, so we can kind of use that gate over there and that one corral panel there. We'll just use it as a divider and kind of just let the cows have at it one roll at a time. That way we don't have to do a whole lot of moving anything. It's kind of right where we need it. And I'm going to try to get some more hay locally, just a couple rolls a week, just to make sure this makes it through the winter. But I don't want to buy a bunch of hay, just leave it laying out in the field. So we got that. I'm working on some solar, and I'll show you that. Right now I'm going to go look for some bolts, and I'll be back with you. All right, Wiggle here. I'm working on a Jinko Eagle 320 watt, 33.4 volts, which is 24 volt, 9.5 amps at 24 volts, which means more like 19 amps at 24 volts. Blah, 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 blah. So what I'm doing, I've got these brackets. These are wood, step, like rustic woodwork step brackets, where you can use these to build steps and hold your risers and that kind of thing. But they are adjustable, which is important. So I'm going to the third way point where a lot of the panels are designed to have your supports. See that over there? Over there. So I'm putting them on that point. So I'm just straddling the bracket and going down a little bit so I can make sure I get my hardware in there, and then I'm just drilling a hole. Hold on a sec. So on this particular panel, there's an inside piece of the channel and an outside piece. You gotta drill through both of them. My regular stainless screws that I bought for the not going to work, they're too short. So I moved up to a galvanized steel, which is all I have right now. I'll probably get some stainless, probably replace these when I do more up there. Right now I'm just trying to get the fridge working. So I'll do this contact point between the aluminum frame and this steel nut. Put a piece of stainless. Stainless is very much not reactive, as opposed to a lot of other metals. So there's my thing. So now I will put stainless washer. Drop it. Anyway, I'll put a stainless washer. Put my hardware. Be right back with you. So this will be one of the most electrically reactive points, perhaps, because it's just going to wood. But at any rate, you don't want your aluminum getting eaten. Now, that steel bolt will be touching the inside lip of that, but I've reduced as much contact as I can. And a little hint when you're working inside these rails, see this little tiny 12.7/16 wrench? Man, it's very nice because it has all those angles. You can just put it right up underneath that rail and just grab it super easy. So that's one little tip. I'm going to go ahead and get all these brackets on, and I'll be back. So anyway, you can see all the contact points are covered by stainless. And if I had that bolt, I got these on clearance at Lowe's for like $1 or $2 a piece, and they had really good screws in there, and there were several brackets in each package. So I bought them not knowing what I'm using for, so I'm just kind of using what I have. And the idea is to have this, adjusted to the pitch of the roof and put screws in to the roof and then I'll tar it really well. And I'm going to be putting metal roof on the house pretty soon, so I'll just tar them real good. I'm not going to worry about a perfect installation at this point. And I have a whole bunch of these brackets, so this may be the way I install them. I'm just going to see how it works. And I also got to make some little jumpers so I can go from, without destroying this, without cutting it, I'm going to make jumpers. That way I can go right into the, I do have to get these down through the roof, but I'm going to try to go through that aluminum vent up there. You see that thing? Yeah, the roof's getting old. It's not as bad as it looks from the down here, but I only have a few years left on it. No more than 5, that's for sure. But anyway, I'll be able to go right to that aluminum vent pretty easily. So I'll go up underneath there, drill a hole, and just pop these through. If I had to, I'll cut them, but I think I'll probably just be able to get the whole jumper through and down into the attic. And then these wires will just be hanging down from the ridge. And I'll show you what I'm going to do after that. Let me get the rest of the brackets on. I'm just saying, watch the clearance section. I buy this weird stuff all the time, not knowing what I'm going to do with it. And I end up finding a use for it. Ideally, it should all be stainless. But this, again, by the time I go to a metal roof with these, I'll definitely want to have stainless bolts. I don't have them, I'll get them. This is better than nothing, and the main point of the stainless is just so this aluminum frame doesn't get eaten by electric activity. So it's not going to be grounding out to the fiberglass shingles very much, even though these top bolts are going to go into that aluminum ridge beam up there, that ridge vent. So I'll be back with you. Well, I went and did it. I went ahead and cut them off because I just want to drill a hole and push them through. I'm going to save these jumpers for a different panel. I just don't want to have to bore a hole big enough to get all that through. That's a 3/4 hole. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to drill one little hole and push this through. Then I'll put my lugs right on there. Or actually, this will go right into the charge control. So everything I need, I just need a drill to drill the holes through the ridge vent, 1/4-inch nut driver, these roofing screws, got some 100% silicone. So that's all I need to get this up there and do the roof part. So I'm going to get this up there and show you how I install it. I got all the brackets on. We'll see how it goes. So one problem I'm running into is that the brackets, I mean, it works just fine, but my wires are going to have to run around the end because it's going to get pinched on that. Well, unless I can bring it to one of these, I might just drill a hole through that. Yeah, I'll probably just drill a hole through the little ridge there. Anyway, I just put a bunch of silicone. I'll show you. See over there. Just fold this thing out. If it'll fold. Not really, but don't really have to. Just put a hole. Oh, look, it's raining. How nice. It's going to start raining as soon as I'm up here. Just squirt a whole bunch of silicone underneath this thing. Cheap caulk gun here. All right. And I will put a couple bolts in it. And there's plenty of meat to, it's a solid wood deck down there, so it's hitting. And you see I have a space here. So I'm gonna get the wires brought through. I know that I need to be right even with that vent stack, which by the way is completely rotted. It starts to rain just when I notice these roof issues. I gotta fix that vent stack. I gotta fix a couple roof shingles. And it's probably not much rain. The roof doesn't really look that bad, thankfully. But I'm going to get this wire in and get these bottom brackets fastened, and I'll show you a picture before I get down. So it's definitely sprinkling a bit. I'm going to get off of this roof. You can see, got a few missing shingles. No leaks that I've seen, but I'm going to go ahead and fix that. But I'm going to wait for this rain to stop. And I should have another 4-inch no caulk hub there. That thing is just shot. I didn't even know. I haven't seen that before. Either something chewed on it or it just completely deteriorated. Anyway, so here I am with, and I just like to get off the roof of the range with this slickness. Way too much silicone. Ton of silicone. And just 2 of those screws in each, and they all hit well. I did hit a roofing nail. When I put that one in, I hit a nail. So I had to use the lower one. Anyway, just 2 of those. And I'll put a little bit more silicone on those. And then here's my penetration here. See that? So everything should be fine as far as leaks. Not too worried about it. So I'm gonna silicone these tops of these. Just way too much. Way too much. But that'll be a solid. That'll outlast the roof. So that should be good there. Driving rain and such should be fine. So that, now I just got to go down there and find, well, it'll be even with the vent stack, which is even with the wall I need to go down in with my wires. So the roofing part of this is over. I will be ready, and I'm glad I didn't leave those connectors. That would have been just way big hole. So, roof's got some mold on it, but the shingles are not dried out yet. It's pretty decent. I mean, it's got some years on it still. It looks pretty terrible from the ground, but it's pretty good up here. Top of the list to fix this roof when we get a little dry. Here's my regular, not MP or whatever, maximum power point, not that one, the other one. The voltage wave modulation, whatever. Power wave modulation. Cheap thing. I've been using it to keep this battery topped off, and I have this inverter hooked up, but it's not that important. I need to get my fridge working, so I'm going to steal this solar charge controller. This is the one that has to be, it has to be the same as the battery bank. The battery bank would have to be 24 volt to match the solar panel which I just put up, which is 24 volt. Doesn't match, so I got to put that step down converter 24 to 12, and then I'll hook that, then I'll wire it into this, and then I'll wire this into the fridge. So I'll show you all that in the attic. I'm going to take this off and unhook my battery so it doesn't all go dead, and I'll show you my other stuff in a minute. So here's my batteries, 3.2 volts, lithium iron phosphate, 202 amp hours, 3.2. And you put 4 of them together, and you have 12.8. Now, let's see if I can find that extra one. Well, anyway, there's a little piece of adhesive, sheet of adhesive, like a big piece of tape, you put between the batteries, and then you glue them together with that. Then you put your bus bars on with the right size screwdriver. Then I bought these of those, 14 to 12. It's a variable size lug. It's rated plenty, 600 volts, so it goes all the way to number 2 stranded. So I'm only using number 8. So this is going to go up in the, from what I can tell, that the cycle of the refrigerator is 6 amps, and just trying to figure out some average usage and so forth. I figured like 40% duty, which I don't even think it'll do that. This 200 amp hour battery should do the job. And to keep a 200 amp hour battery topped off, you would need 300 watts from your panel matching. So I only need a 300 watt 12-volt array to keep this charged. I'm wasting energy because I'm using a 320 watt at 24 volts, so it's way more than it needs. But I know it's already on the panel. It's going to cost me more to buy the lower voltage panel, the 12-volt panel, than I paid. I paid like $130 for the one I've got. And I am going to get the better charge controller, which this is not. But for now, to get my refrigerator going, from the panel, I'm going to hook into this, 24 to 12. Then I'll hook this into the panel lugs from here to here. And then the batteries, I'll use a piece of number 8 to come from the battery bank to this. And then the load will be another piece of number 8. And that will go down through the wall to the fridge. So I got to go up in the attic and start getting all this. And I've got a big spool of number 8 that I'm going to drag up there. So I don't like just cutting it up, not knowing where I'm going to need it. So I'm cheap. So I'll just run it down through, figure out my length, cut it, and then I'll match the other one to it and then pull it through. I'll have my positive and my negative, run it down to my fridge, run it up to this. So I got to go up in the attic, crawl around, and I got to poke some holes in the walls, start trying to snake some wires. So I will show you the wires when I start to hook this all together.